Hello and welcome to another Glenn Maney's Talk Chelsea. Well, yesterday, the 12th of February 2022, was the day when Chelsea actually won it all. Every possible club trophy for an English team, we won. We won the World Club Cup. We beat Palmeiras from Brazil and we beat them 2-1 in extra time. So a lot of jealousy already. Piers Morgan says it's embarrassing for a club to be celebrating a cup that no one knows about. Of course he wouldn't know about it. He supports Arsenal. I'm surprised he even knows about the top four. Piers Morgan, by the way, former editor of the Daily Mirror, who lied about our troops torturing Iraqis and got the sack for it. Now that's embarrassing, Piers. And here's a picture for you. It's a dinosaur with very small brain capacity, and he's standing next to Arsenal's mascot. So Piers. So last night, let's get into it. Don't worry about idiots like that. Let's get into it. Last night we won the World Club Cup. And Tuchel was back, nice to see. I think we definitely had more impetus, especially at the start of extra time when he got everyone round and you could see he was really telling them, I want this, I want that, I want the other. You can't do that on Zoom. You can't get that real emphasis across. So it was good to see him back. He had a hard decision to make, Mendy or Kepa. I actually felt sorry for Kepa last night because Kepa had actually that wonderful save in the semi-final and he'd been playing so well. But I suppose you always go with your number one, and Mendy is our number one. Funnily enough, I don't know if you agree, but when they got that penalty, I thought, oh my God, I wish Kepa was in goal. And the guy, if you notice, he put it down to the goalkeeper's left where Kepa saved that one the other day. So you don't know if he'd have gone the same way, but it did go through my mind. So we started off with Mendy in goal. We had Christensen, Silva and Rudiger at the as centre backs. Aspie on one side as a right wing back, and Callum Hudson-Odoi allegedly as a left wing back on the other side. In the middle we had Kante and Cover, and just in front of them we had Mount, Havertz, and obviously up front we had Lukaku. Now the game stats, they speak for themselves. I think we had 71-72% possession. We had double the amount of passes they had. Our passing accuracy, I was surprised actually, was up to 86% because I thought we gave the ball away a lot, especially when we got tired. Uncharacteristically, Kante was one of those that gave it away a lot more than he normally would in his normal game. And there were a lot of players out there that gave it away, from my point of view, too cheaply. Callum Hudson-Odoi, I don't know what he was doing after time. He was just trying to run through players, and obviously he was coming unstuck and losing the ball. So yeah, was it a great performance? Nowhere near it. I mean, we probably won that cup in second gear. Probably won it in second gear. There were a lot of performances out there. See, you don't appreciate how hot it is on that pitch. I saw Kante, he was drenched, and the little man was still going. And although he gave it away a few times, crikey, he didn't half win some ball. You could see him sweating, you could see him wilting. And don't forget, the Brazilians are more acclimatised to playing in that type of heat than we are. So I suppose really it was a good performance without being a great one. So we started off on the front foot, tried to make things happen, and I thought for the first sort of 10-15 minutes we were much a superior side, and we were unlucky. Well, we lost Mount after 31 minutes, injured. When he got caught, I could see him. I could see him get caught, and I thought that looks a bad one. But he tried playing on, and you know what Mason Mount's like. Chelsea through and through. He wouldn't have wanted to come off, but he had to. And Pulisic come on, and Pulisic, funny for a guy that's not had many minutes, which he hasn't, he looked really sharp. He looked really sharp, and gave him a different set of problems than Mason would have given them. So yeah, it was a shame to see Mason go, but Pulisic looked like really had a point to prove. It was nice to see. Running at players, unlucky at one point. He tried dribbling through, and he was unlucky to get stopped. They defended well, to be honest. They put a lot of men behind the ball. It made me laugh. Scarpa at the back. It looked like he'd scarpered from soap and water all his life. But he put a shift in, the lad. He really did. He just looked. You know, you get some individuals that just look dirty, don't you? You know, you've worked with them. I have. Maybe I do. But he just looked dirty. They were masters of the dark arts. They would go over if the wind was blowing, and as you'd expect from a Brazilian side, lots of off the ball stuff. You see, there was one moment there in the second half where Havertz got pulled back. The bloke had his shirt in the penalty area. I think it was a corner, and you think to yourself, well, no, it wasn't. He went through, and the guy had his shirt, and you thought to yourself, there's VAR. There's VAR. How is that not a penalty? I just don't know. But yeah, we'll come on to penalties in a minute. Yeah, so that was the team, and it was the second half before the stalemate was broken, and that was broken when, on I think it was the only occasion. No, there was two occasions, but once he just wellied it so hard it went straight out for a throw in the other side. I think it was the one occasion that Callum Hudson-Odoi put a decent ball in the. I think it was on for 76 minutes, wasn't it? Yeah. He was on for 76 minutes before he was placed by Niguez, Saul Niguez. And what a ball it was. It was perfection, and Lukaku got on the end of it. Bread and butter for Lukaku, but you've got to get on the end of it still, and he did. He wasn't great last night, but he really put the effort in, and I was a little bit sad to see him go off after 76 minutes. You got to think to yourself, something's broken between him and the manager when you take your allegedly your top striker off with 14 minutes to go. You need to win. I think that says it all about his relationship with Tuchel and, be honest, his performances since he got back in the side after injury. He had them 2 games where he scored and he looked the dogs do dangles. Done that interview, and since then he's been absolutely dire, if we're going to be brutally honest about it. So that was it. It was all hunky-dory. Chelsea were going at them 10 to the dozen. I thought, that's it, this game's over. We're going to get a second any minute. And then they get a penalty. Now, I've watched that loads and loads of times. What happened to the day where you had to either intentionally control the ball with your arm, or, which that wasn't, or you stopped a goal scoring opportunity with your arm? What happened to those days? That seemed like common sense to me. Last night, the reason Silva's arm was in a, what do they call it, unnatural position, was because the other geezer pushed his arm up with his shoulder. You watch it again, that's what actually happens. How is that a penalty? I just don't know. Anyway, they took the penalty. It was a well taken penalty, but you have got that little bit in your head. Would Kepa have saved that? But it doesn't matter. End of the day, we won. But at that particular time, I was thinking, oh, they made a mistake, because Kepa is the boy for penalties, isn't he? So it was 1-1, and then we had Lukaku going off, as I say, in the 76th minute, and we had Callum Hudson-Odoi going off, and I thought to myself, that should have happened at half time. But what do I know? That's why Tuchel gets the big bucks, I guess. But I was very disappointed in Callum Hudson-Odoi last night. And then at the end of full time, ZH come on for Cover. Cover had covered so much ground. It must have been a toss up between him and Kante, and you could tell as we went into extra time, Kante's passing got worse and worse because the boy was just whacked. I'd love to know how many miles he covered last night. I really would. So yeah, Cover went off, and I suppose they probably thought Kante's got a bit more athleticism, and we'll keep him on. And Sarr came on for Christensen. That was probably just because Christensen hasn't had that many minutes. So injury time, couple of chances. They had a couple of chances. I think one's in Rose Ed, but not really direct ones. I didn't think they were going to score, and we had a couple of half chances that I thought we should have done. We should have done better with. A few shots that we skied, one from Aspie, and then a shot from Aspie and handball. And again, I think it's touch and go handball. It was more of a, because it was a direct shot that Aspie had taken, it was more of a stopping a goal scoring opportunity than the Silva one, but it's still a harsh penalty. But if the Silva one's a penalty, that one was a penalty all day, every day of the week, and twice on Sunday. So Kai strode up to the ball and majestically took a great penalty. Absolutely great. Stopped. The keeper was already going and just put it the other way. Absolutely marvellous. So that was it. That was the tale of the game as far as I saw it. Now let's give these players some scores. I won't be too harsh because we are champions of the world. Mendy didn't have an awful lot to do. His distribution was good. Yeah, I'm going to give Mendy a 7. Nice to see him back, but I really felt sorry for Kepa last night. Really sorry for Kepa. Christensen done okay. Couple of wayward balls, but I'm not going to penalise him too much for that because everyone else was the same. Christensen gets a 7. Silva, who won player of the tournament. I don't know how that happened. He's great. I love him. You know I love Thiago Silva. I thought he did okay. He was one of our better players, but player of the tournament, well done him. But I think there's a couple of our players that would have felt a little bit hard done by that. Probably over the 2 games, Aspie deserves it as much as Thiago. And last night, my personal man of the match, you'll probably disagree. Loads of people have disagreed with me already, but I would have given it to Havertz. But Tony Rudiger got it, fair enough. I just didn't see why, to be honest. Done a great defensive job, don't get me wrong, but it didn't. No one really stood out last night for me. But I just thought Havertz scoring the goal and also a lot of his link-up play was superb last night. So anyway, I've gone off track again, and I like I do. Silva gets a 7.5. Rudy gets an 8. He didn't stand no nonsense from him. Never does he? Aspie gets a 7.5 from me. I thought he did really well last night. In fact, you know what? Aspie's going to get an 8. Proper shift. Tried to get the ball over a fair few times. Good defensively. Little Kante last night gets a 7 from me. He lost the ball a lot, particularly in extra time. But you know what? That little man covered so much ground last night. It was frightening. He must have been absolutely whacked. They gave him ice baths now, don't they? They must have given him his own glacier at the end of that. Kova did really well. Kova gets a 7.5 from me. Callum Hudson-Odoi gets a 5. The amount of times he's got one-on-one and he plays it backwards is so frustrating. And the amount of times he tries taking the guy on, but instead of pushing the ball by him, it hits the man. I was really frustrated with him last night. Gets a 5 though instead of a 4 because of that great ball he put in for Lukaku to score. Mount pretty unfair to score him. He gets a 6. He did a couple of good things before he went off, but in 31 minutes he was injured, so I'll give Mason a 6. Havertz last night, my man of the match, 8.5. I know some people disagree, and I know he's got his critics, but I thought he had a really good game last night. And for a young man to have the balls to go up there and take that penalty with a few minutes left in a top final like that, I thought he done really well. A couple of times he put people in. He put Lukaku in once, and Lukaku couldn't finish, but he just had a good game. Lukaku last night gets a 7. I thought he tried last night. He doesn't always make the runs he should be doing, but then a lot of the time we don't find him when he tries to make those runs, and I think he gets disillusioned and fed up. Pulisic can score. He had best part of 70 minutes on the pitch, didn't he? And he did really well. I think he gets a 7.5 from me. Positive. Looked sharp, probably should have scored actually, but yeah, good performance. Not going to bother scoring everyone else. Werner, when he came on, loads of effort, a couple of wayward balls. I thought he should have scored when he skied it, but that's Timo, innit, all over you. Gave him some new problems when when we were tired, but I say, taking Lukaku off, and replacing with Werner, I just didn't see it, to be honest. But there you go. So the Mohammed bin Zayed Stadium saw a new name on the World Club Cup, and it was that of Chelsea's. Tommy Tuchel was back, and I'm giving Tommy Tuchel an 8. He set up a winning team, and that's all you can do. That is all you can do. It was quite a hostile atmosphere. They had double the amount of fans that we did, and we rose above it. So onwards and upwards. We've won it all. We've won it all. Let me know what you think. That's the reason I do these. Please subscribe to the channel so we can all have a chat. And thanks for watching. You guys and girls have a good week, and I shall speak to you after the next game. Up to Chelsea.